Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is part 7 of our 8-part conspiracy podcast post. It kind of blows me away that I'm still doing this. This is like the end of December. I honestly thought that I would chew through this in an afternoon. It's amazing, kind of the regulations, rules, ideas that we kind of put ourselves under, what we decide we want to, I don't know, how we decide that we're going to go about something. Like, that's just what's going to happen in my mind. And then it doesn't happen. And then often we just walk away. This is something that I really want to do. 40 posts that started off. Let me see here. Let's still zoom out. That started off with, how hardcore of a truther are you? Add up the points for each one of these that you believe in. There's a few that are, peculiar, but I understand the origins of them. It's just fascinating. The list is fascinating to me, and I'm happy I embarked on this, and I'm intrigued by how long it's taken me to get through this. I like it. I think it's been fun. I think the whole thing's been, it's been a hoot. Just a regular old hoot, wouldn't you say, bud? So the last one we did was 26 through 30. And now we're going to be doing 31 through 35. Starting with MK Ultra, mind control is real. Now, I mean, again, I have no proof of any of this. This is just some of the stuff that I've looked into, the small amount of information that I may have on any given topic. I'd like to think that there are multiple levels of mind control, because personally, I can't even define what the mind is. Like, do I think that this pile of, I don't know, material inside my head is creating anything? Or am I completely ass backwards in what I believe? Because everything I've been taught has been relatively askew. I think that that's more reliable, more reasonable to believe. So to control my mind on a very basic level is not hard. I'm a male. I'm simple. Everybody out there, just think of the thing as a male. To all the male listeners, think of that thing or those things that distract you. Just go ahead and think about them. Shiny, aren't they? Fantastic. Now for the women, think about how many times you've been having a conversation with a male and you've had to, like, hey, snap out of it. You're like, shit, what's going on here? Where am I? Am I still driving the car? Everybody's safe? All right, good. We're safe. We're good. To get my attention, not hard. To keep my attention, kind of hard. To manipulate my desire, if I'm unaware that you're doing it, not hard. So here's an example. I am a 40-something now, living in Toronto, Canada. And for a long time, I was a huge Mets fan. I was a huge fan, a proponent of the long peacoat, the one that went past the knees. I liked brown suede and a few other things I can't quite remember, but I remember making a realization, because as a kid, growing up in the 90s, one of my favorite shows was Seinfeld. And rewatching it now, a lot of my proclivities were his. He's always got the nice coat. It always looked fantastic. Like, this is a dope, dapper little device. He's a Mets fan through and through, over the Yankees, living in New York. And I wonder to myself, like, how does this happen? How am I vehemently opposed, in sports to the Yankees? It's weird. So is it easy to control your mind? 100%. Can I do it as a salesperson? Possibly. I mean, I'm kind of trained to do it. It's not so much controlling your mind. It's creating a picture, one that you appreciate. And if I've got a product to push, well, I'm a true addict. Oh, shit, I got a head rush. Sorry, I'm just quoting some Rage Against the Machine, who, by the way, are doing their best to make up for the fact that they said if you're not vaccinated, don't bother coming to our shows. That was a bit harsh. They had to cancel the tour and then claim that what's-his-name's foot got hurt. A bit ridiculous, if you ask me. So MK Ultra, mind control is real. 100% it's real. What the mind is, I don't know. That you can be manipulated? Absolutely. If I've got something to sell you, I don't sell you the thing. I sell you the idea, and I make you picture yourself in it, doing it. And then you're like, fuck, I like this. And then all of a sudden, it's your idea. You've made the decision to sign on the line that is dotted. But was it your decision? I don't know. So MK Ultra, sound waves, sound frequencies. Can they create a Manchurian candidate, one that doesn't remember what they did the night before? Yeah. How many of you guys have eaten a couple edibles, one edible too many? And you wake up in the morning, you're like, the fuck did I do last night? I have cognitive realizations and memories. I remember 11:30. I don't quite remember 11:30 till 12, but it looks like I passed out at 12:30. So what happened in the last hour? Absolutely. They did these experiments with LSD and everything like that too. So they created portals inside the brain. There's no reason to think that we wouldn't be mappable. They're even trying it now with electronics, things that we're witnessing. And even that crazy fungus, the one Gisem Crobi with the ants. This fungus gets into the ants, kills the ant, but then it controls the body of the ant to get itself to a higher position so it can bore through the head of the ant and spew its fungus elsewhere. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. I got to let you know, too, I'm still sick. This has been ridiculous. It's December. I never get sick. I was sick for the first 10, 15 days of December, and then I got a 1-day cold, and then it just reappeared right after Christmas, the 25th, 6th, and 7th. What are we now? The 28th? I'm low energy. Ironically, I'm lower energy today than I was yesterday, which was the last recording. And my last recording sounded like it didn't have the energy that I wanted to have, but the message was there. So, I know last episode was a bit convoluted, but this episode's better. Because I'm laughing. I think I'm at the point of deliriousness. And man, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on what it is, other than maybe, you eat too much shitty food at Christmas and you sort of break too many patterns, especially if you're on kind of a health kick thing. I don't know. And you know what? It shouldn't even be a health kick. As I say it out loud, it should be a reality kick. We've been on an unhealthy kick basically our whole lives because we believed the bastards pushing out the media. Holy fucking hell. Back to MK Ultra. Yeah, mind control is real. 100%. We're manipulated every single day into doing some dumb shit. Bottom line. I'm going to leave it at that. Moving on. Birth control causes abortions. Man, this is a touchy subject, but this is number 32. Does birth control cause abortion? I don't know the science behind birth control other than it's essentially chemical castration. And I do know that pretty much every single one of these things, these conspiracies, really all leads back to population control. I don't know why, but all of the wars and all of the gay and the trans, that particular agenda. The gay and the trans don't want to procreate. So even that's population control. X-rays, that's population control. All the cancer from sunblocks, that's population control. 9/11, that's population control. We're fearing people into doing these things. The wars benefiting the top elite. And whenever any country goes to war, its civilians die. Population control. Man. So the GMOs, population control. It's just on and on and on. So what is birth control? I don't know. But I do know that it's relatively new in the grand scheme of humanity. And I do know that my generation was basically taught by Madonna to be a whore. And then, of course, all the subsequent musical acts came out and told all the women to be a whore. And now, of course, every single woman is, not every single woman, I'm not going to generalize. Lots of women are on OnlyFans under the guise of empowerment. And honestly, I 100% believe in that. I think that we've been tricked and manipulated into believing that nudity is something more than it is. I think that nude art is stunning. I think that the nude form is stunning. Whether you're 100 pounds or 300 pounds, there's beauty in everything. And 500 pounds. I'm not going to set any limitations. You could be 1,000 pounds. I think you can be 1,000 pounds. I wonder how much the heaviest person on the planet is. Of the planet. I wonder how much the planet weighs and who's weighing it. Who's weighing the planet? Can we get a NASA agent on the phone? No? All right. It comes down to this whole idea of, here's a pill. Go do what you want. Go be promiscuous. Take this pill and you'll be fine. Does it cause abortion? I think the morning after pill is quote unquote the one that causes abortion. I think the pill is chemical castration. And I think when people get off the pill and they want to have kids, they don't have that luxury because for 15, 20 years, whatever it is, we've been told the pill is fine and it's all good. And now we're on it. And once we're off it, our body is all wrecked and there's not much we can do. And it's peculiar and it's a giant mind fuck. So I don't like birth control. And I believe everyone can do whatever they want to do and be whoever they want to be 100%. I believe that we're manipulated a lot of the ways into things. Back to MK Ultra. I think that our personality is taken from aspects of everything that we've seen. But I'm a firm believer that everything that we've seen is being bastardized right now as well. So we're left with the, idea that we can start creating or we can start observing or critical thought is not dead and that we're able to expand upon certain things. And I'm a huge proponent of that. What's number 33? Let's see here. The Federal Reserve is privately owned and controls the USA and world. That's an overstatement, I think. The Federal Reserve is privately owned. That's not a conspiracy. Its dictation of what money is abysmal. We're supposed to believe in this sort of stuff. Like, think about your taxes, especially if you're in Canada. You're getting taxed up the yang. And where's that money going? Or what's that money representing? Or if you don't pay your taxes, you're a criminal and we're going to put you in jail. Like, the idea that we've been fed with regards to what this cash is utter garbage, tripe, and bullshit. And I think that that's coming to fruition. I think that that's an understanding now that's really coming out. Does the Fed control the world? No, not in the least. Because money isn't the result. And I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm the only person I know that's saying this. Everyone says follow the money. I don't believe that. I believe the money is just another layer of distraction, because if you don't, we're on this massive hunt to get money because we're told that we need it. And obviously we have to pay for this and pay for that and all that sort of stuff. But everyone that's pursuing money over passion is miserable. And everyone that's pursuing passion, for the most part, is understanding how to earn money. I mean, there are a million ways to earn $1 or $2. You don't need to do what you've been taught to do. Now, granted, if you're happy and content earning your money and you're chasing your dreams and your passion, then great. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I sit here and I get the beautiful pleasure of recording podcasts and sharing with you guys. And I'm blown away by how the audience is growing and the sponsors that are reaching out to us. I've yet to accept any sponsors, speaking of money. But if something comes along that I agree with, I'll throw the ad in. And it won't be a dumb ad. It'll just be like, hey, I believe in this. I like this. They're pitching it to me. And I think that you guys could benefit from it. That might come around. I don't care much for pitchy stuff like that. I don't want to really work it in, but I'm not going to say no to money. Well, I am going to say no to money. But if it's good money for a good product that would line up with me, why wouldn't I do it? Why wouldn't I benefit everybody? So are we as tied into money? No. I think that the idea behind money is that, then taxation is that so you don't have it. If you don't have it, then you have to keep working for it. If you have to keep working for it, then you don't get the opportunity to find out why you're truly here. There are a ton of people right now that are asking that very question. And more people are going to ask that question. More and more people. And some of them are going to be ultra rich people that are asking this question. So we're going to find areas and people and like-minded folk that are going to be connected, that are going to want to work with each other and create communes, perhaps. Healthy places that are off-grid, away from the tyranny. And when you say that, man, do you ever sound like a bad guy? Oh, yeah, sure. Just like, that worked out so well for those folks down in Texas, blah, blah, blah. You know, like they David Koresh, the Koreshians or whatever the hell they call those guys. I'm not saying get wrapped up in a cult. I'm saying do for you what you believe is right and connect with those that you believe are right to connect with, and then have the experience. But if you feel that everything is A-okay, then you're already connected with those people and that like-minded thing. There's no need to make fun of it. So no, I don't think that they run the world. I think that it's an illusion. It's a contribution to the illusion. Much like the WEF, Klaus Schwab, all of our world leaders, the fact that we believe that we're on a spinning globe. I mean, it's all, you know, the world is massive. It's too big for anyone to control it all. That sort of thing. I believe that there is more to the story than we've ever been allowed to even fathom, because we're inside the box, and you can only think inside the box while you're inside the box. And the further outside the box you attempt to bend your mind, the more you're going to get made fun of. So I say to you, take all the information you've got and keep pushing, keep critically thinking, because there is answers out there, and your body will know when they're the accurate ones. What else do we got here? Number 34. Monsanto is fully corrupt. Now, I've had some actual dealings with this company, and I know some actual farmers who have dealt with them. And what's fascinating about Monsanto is they tried to release a seed that wouldn't regerminate, and they were forcing farmers to use this seed. In other words, every year you had to buy your seed from Monsanto. Monsanto also swept under the rug multiple other problems they had with aspirin, Bayer, and that sort of stuff. When they bought those companies, like your pesticide companies owns Bayer. It may have changed hands since then and all that sort of thing, but I mean, there is like the Johnson & Johnson lawsuits for the baby powder, talcum powder, or talc, sorry. All of these things that were in there that, you know, the lawsuits went through and everybody got sued and fined and nobody wants to talk about. Monsanto bought all that up and buried it all. Buried. So is Monsanto fully corrupt? I believe that they're running a game that we don't know anything about. I believe that corruption is an open-ended debate. But I believe that, you know, in the way of doing things, you know, ethically, I don't think Monsanto does it at all. I've literally seen them strong-arm people. It's quite fascinating to realize that this shit is active in corporate America, corporate Canada, whatever. It's kind of ridiculous. And that brings us to number 35, which is the biggest one. In my opinion, I've already touched on it. Taxation is theft. 100%. If you're focused on earning all of your money and having it, why does the government need it? Oh, to build roads, to build schools. We can set up regional things. We can handle it ourselves. This idea that we need somebody to rule over us is absurd, and that they need 50% of our income right out the gate, and then the 50% that we're left with gets paid out in copious amounts to groceries, grocery tax, the tax on groceries, the tax on gasoline. You're legitimately, after you're taxed on income tax, sales tax, gas tax, carbon tax in Canada, you're left with about 25% of your income to do what with? Well, whatever you want. If it's not enough, just get out there and earn more money. I'll lasso the moon for you. You can't do it. Taxation is theft, because the idea behind taxation, if you stand up against them, even the pre-programming back in the day, how many of us have heard the term, you know, what's his name? Al Capone, right? This guy stayed out of jail forever, except for on tax evasion. The one thing that got Al Capone was tax evasion. Whoa. Here's another fun thing too. Al Capone is a Mandela effect as well. There are some universes where Al Capone. See, how can I deliver this so that people can hear it and laugh? Do you think about how Al Capone died? Some of you just said he died of syphilis in prison. And the fascinating thing about that is it's not true. He was released from prison and he died of old age at a retirement home in Florida. Isn't that wild? And some of you knew that he died in a retirement home in Florida because the Mandela effect is peculiar and it's merging realities. So that's a fun one. But I brought up Al Capone because he skirted everything legally except taxes. And whether that's true or not, that's the story that we believe. So even the most staunch of us is like, well, if Al Capone can't get away from it, neither can I. So I'm going to pay my taxes. And it's such a huge, disrespectful crime not to pay your taxes. Fucking theft. These people are stealing from you. Stealing your hard-earned money. And there's nothing you can do about it. We just roll over and take it. Because for everyone taking a paycheck, that money just naturally comes off your paycheck. They just take that. And we literally just bend over, spread our cheeks, and take it up the pooper. That's what we allow. I'm not standing here going, revolt, revolt. Or am I? All I'm saying is once you fully understand and comprehend how manipulative the taxation is, especially in Canada, or even in the States, Michigan probably doesn't even have clean water. Our Native Americans, Native Canadians, however you want to put it, they have a boiling water advisory as well. There are a ton of places. Our veterans don't have proper housing, proper accommodations. Yet we can send billions of dollars to Ukraine in some pumped up war, some over dramatized thing that now, even if you don't have an opinion on or a side on, you're a terrible person for saying that it's terrible for blah, 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 blah. Because we're being manipulated by both sides. It's the same thing with the Gaza Strip. Palestine, Israel. Pick a side. Make sure it's the right side. Make sure it's the side that we agree with, or you're the bad guy. Well, the only people giving us the information are the same people that are taking our money from taxation. There are legit a handful of people fucking with our shit. Does that mean that there's a nefarious they? Because here we go. We can go right up to the top of this. And I've had this conversation before. There is no nefarious they. But if there were, it's you. The higher up the food chain you go with regards to what you may or may not believe, with regards to where we may or may not be and who's running whatever, soul contracts dictate that you're here to challenge yourself to become a better version of you. And you can't challenge yourself if there isn't challenges to be had. So you set the game parameters, and now you're playing the very game you chose to play, which theoretically makes the nefarious they you. And that's pretty cool. It's also quite empowering. We needed taxation to be theft so we could see it and rise above it and become more from it. So yeah, taxation is theft. The next episode, we will be getting into, there are multiple cures for cancer already discovered. Science has become a religion. That's a good one. FEMA camps exist. That's a good one. Nuclear weapons are a hoax. And the final one is elites are staging a false flag alien invasion. So that's the next episode. That's the last episode. That is the last 4 topics that we're going to get into. And that's kind of fun. So I'm excited for that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this show. And if you want anything from us, hit us up. Hit me up directly. Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. Hit me up directly. And I will reply to you. I'll help you. I'll just say hello. Whatever you need. Merry Christmas, everybody. New Year's is rolling around the corner. This will probably be the last episode of 2023. And the first episode of 2024 will be part 8. So, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.